Hi, I'm Sean Mooney. Today we're going to learn a little bit about Schopenhauer and Hume. And we're going to start off with Schopenhauer, talk about his main ideas. Pretty much his main idea is that everything sucks, bro. Um, for Schopenhauer, there's no God. He's an atheist outwardly, pretty much the first outward atheist. Um, so for him, happiness is impossible in our world because all willing stems from a lack or deficiency. And suffering for Schopenhauer is lack, is wanting. Fulfillment is thought to bring an end to the state of deficiency. However, fulfillment we experience is fleeting at best, and even desires fulfilled simply make way for new deficiencies. Nothing can ever end our suffering, pretty much, and for that reason, happiness is impossible for us. Another main idea. Yeah, we covered he's an atheist. That's a pretty big idea that there can't be a creator of this world because this world is so shit that nobody could have created it in their right mind. It's important that people consider his ideas because although his philosophy is really dramatic in its pessimism, it's important that people consider his ideas because they portray the darker aspects of our existence, and it's like beneficial reading if you really want to know what happiness is, to read about how much we're suffering. Okay. Hume. For Hume, some of his main ideas. The biggest one, passions over reason. His famous saying that reason can only ever be the slave of the passions. He's one of the first philosophers to consider morality as a human creation rather than something given to us by God. Like we said, reason is and can only ever be the slave of the passions. This is true because reason alone can never motivate us to act on anything. It can inform us of an object of desire to act on or new means to act on an object of desire, but it can never motivate our actions directly. It can only redirect our passions. I think it's important for people to consider Hume's thoughts, morality, and its origins because no belief we hold should ever be considered infallible. And saying that all of our morality is given to us by God, that makes any moral belief you hold pretty much infallible because going against it would be blasphemous. And if you believe some idea to be right every time, nothing's ever going to convince you otherwise. What do these two philosophers agree on? Where do they overlap? Huge one, I think. Sympathy and compassion. So for Hume, sympathy is a non-rational psychological mechanism that allows us to feel what others are feeling. The principle of association is a key element in sympathy. Through the principle of association, we recognize people or things that share a resemblance to ourselves and associate them with our sense of self. Concept of sympathy is what makes it possible for us to show compassion. That's my own little thing. Hume's concept of sympathy and the importance of compassion to Schopenhauer's philosophy is one of the biggest overlaps between the two, probably the second biggest to the next one we'll cover. Compassion is so important to Schopenhauer's moral philosophy because it is one of the very few ways we can transcend our human condition, see a world beyond our own experiences and feelings, which would be like killing the ego a little bit. Another big area they overlap is obviously no God, no reason. I don't think Hume outwardly says he's an atheist, but it's conjectured that he was one. The biggest overlap in the two systems of thought is the move away from appeals to divine authority and the emphasis of the non-rational aspects of human existence. For Hume, this move takes the form of genealogical human account of morality, a theory of behavior in which actions are based on passional rather than rational motives. For Schopenhauer, it takes on a more radical form in the impossibility of there being a divine creator, like we said, due to the wretched and horrible nature of our reality and how shitty it is, and his thoughts that underlying all things there is one unified, unending strife or energy, which he calls the will to live. Actions are irrational always, and they're thought of as either affirming or denying the will to live. And where do these philosophers disagree? The main thing I think would be Hume would say, chill out, bro. It's not that bad. Hume seems more positive and less pessimistic than Schopenhauer. His ideas overlap more than they oppose each other, but like they overlap because I think most of Hume's ideas could fit into Schopenhauer's model, for sure. But the most obvious area of disagreement is Schopenhauer's radical pessimism contrasted with Hume's more positive outlook on things, or more neutral. For example, Hume, like most of us, wouldn't ever say it would be better if nothing had ever existed at all. That wraps it up pretty much. I think both areas of thought are really great, and I enjoyed reading both. That's why I selected both these philosophers. And overall, this class was banging. Yeah!